Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So my husband is having a Western themed birthday party and I wanted to set up a cute little temporary tattoo corner, and I remembered that you can DIY temporary tattoos at home. I'm going to show you how to do it with your Cricut in this video, but you can also do it without a Cricut, so stay tuned. So you want to start by finding the designs for your temporary tattoos, and I'm going to be using Canva. So you want to create a design and you're going to choose a custom size. So I'm going to make my size the size of the print and cut for Cricut, but if you're not using a Cricut, just do 8.5 by 11 because that's the size of the sheets. Now that we have our canvas resized, we're going to go ahead and find our images. So with Canva, you can upload your own images that you want. So you can look on Google, Pinterest to find something that's unique, or you can use like photos that you have on your phone. But I'm going to get all of my images here from Canva. So I went to Elements and I typed in Western tattoos and I just scrolled until I found some images that I liked. Now, if you don't have Canva Pro, then your elements might be limited. I have Canva Pro, so I'm able to select any of these images that I want. And if you don't have it, I know that they do have a 7-day free trial that you can try if you really like the images that they have on there. But if not, like I said before, you can use Google or Pinterest to find some good images too. After you've found all the images that you like, you want to go ahead and resize them. So for the tattoos, I like to keep them around 1.5 inches, but most of the time I end up making them a little bit bigger. Okay, so now that we have our tattoos to the size that we want, it's time to rearrange them on the page. If you're not using your Cricut, you can just make them as close as possible as you want because you're going to print this paper out and just cut them out. But because I'm using a Cricut, I need to give them a little bit more space because I'm going to add an offset to them. That way they can cut out individually. So as you can see, while I'm repositioning them, there's space in between them. There's also this empty area right here, so I'm just going to go ahead and fill that with extra tattoos. After I'm happy with how everything's positioned, I'm going to go ahead and download it to my computer. But as you download it, you're going to download it as a PNG, and I like to download it at the highest quality. And I'm also going to make a transparent background. If you're not using a Cricut, you can keep that white background on there because as you print it out, it's going to print white anyway, so don't worry. Once you've launched Cricut Design Space, you want to start a new project and make sure it's on a blank canvas. Once it's on that blank canvas, we're going to go ahead and upload our design that we made on Canva. So go to Uploads, choose Upload Design, and we're going to browse our computer, and it should be the most recent thing that you downloaded. Now, if you forgot to remove your background in Canva, then once you hit continue, if you have Cricut access, you're able to automatically remove that background, but I've already done that, so I don't have to do it here. So now I'm going to select flat graphic, that way it saves it as a print and cut image. And once you do that, you're going to title your image whatever you want. I'm doing temporary tattoos. And then once you do that, you can go ahead and upload it to Cricut Design Space. So for some reason, my image uploaded really big, so I'm going to go ahead and resize it to the dimension that I made before. After resizing my image, Cricut is still telling me that my image is too big for print and cut. You can see the red exclamation point. So click on that and then click on auto resize, and it's going to resize your image to make sure it can fit the print and cut settings. So after doing that, we're going to add an offset to it. That way it has a border around the tattoo when it cuts out. To do this, you're going to click on edit, then scroll down to where it says offset. Then you're going to change the distance to 0.1 inch, and it's going to make a small border around our tattoos. It automatically is going to make it go gray, but we're going to change that color to white. That way it's going to be transparent whenever we print them out. Now you can adjust the border to whatever size you want, but I think that 0.1 works perfectly fine. So now I'm going to select both the offset and the images, and we're going to flatten that image together. That way it's going to be one print and cut image instead of being two separate cuts. Make sure you're selecting flatten and not weld, attach, or group. Those are not going to help at all. Only the flatten will. Now it's time to cut our designs out. So for temporary tattoos, you want to make sure you mirror your image. If you don't mirror your image, then when you add the tattoos, then your design is going to be backwards. So you're going to select mirror just like you do whenever you're doing like an iron-on design. So once we do that, we're going to hit continue and we're going to find the material to cut out. So you want to select browse, and then I'm going to search tattoo. And once I select tattoo, printable temporary tattoo paper is going to come up, and that's what we're going to use to cut our design out. And now you can choose your cut pressure. You can choose whatever pressure you want, but for projects like this, I typically use more. The temporary tattoo paper that I'm using is the Cricut brand, but I know they sell different ones on Amazon if you guys want to try different ones. But if you want to use the exact same ones that I'm using, this is what I'm using. To make the temporary tattoos, you need 2 sheets. So the printable sheet is this matte paper right here. It's matte on one side and you print your image on it. And the top coating is this clear sheet that you're going to place on top of it, which helps make those temporary tattoos transferable. The paper setting that I'm used to print out this temporary tattoo paper is the same as the plain setting for copy paper. I'm also using a regular inkjet printer to print these out. This is the printer that I use if you guys were curious, but most at-home printers will work with this paper. So after printing out your paper, it has a little gloss to it, and I didn't even notice that before I printed everything out, but you want to make that ink dry before you put it on your mat. So I'm using a regular light grip mat because we are using paper, and you want to make sure you place it right on the corner of your mat. I'm also going to use a brayer to make sure that that paper is nice and flat onto the mat. Now it's time to add that clear coat. So to do this, you want to peel away the backing on it. Be very careful because it does have like a coating on there for the temporary tattoo. This paper is also extremely sticky, so you want to be very careful as you're placing it down. I start by placing the top of the clear coat on top of my paper. Then I use this scraper. This is the same one I use for laminate on stickers, and I use it to make sure the clear coat is adhered to the paper and there's no air bubbles. If you're not using a Cricut, you're going to follow the same steps but just without the mat. You're going to lay your paper on a flat surface, and then you're going to add your laminate on the top just like we did here. After adding our clear coat, it's time to load our mat into our Cricut. So because we're using print and cut, your paper is going to print out with those 4 angles in the corner. You see those black angles? So your Cricut is going to read those. Those are called registration marks, and it's going to tell your Cricut exactly where to cut. That way it's going to cut cleanly around all of your designs. Now I think this might be the last time that I say this, but if you're not using a Cricut, of course you're not going to load it into a Cricut. You're just going to take scissors and cut them out. So you can cut around each design if you want, or you can just cut like tiny little squares. That will work too. Now that we're done cutting everything out, you want to remove your mat from the Cricut, and as you can see, it cut nicely around all of my design. So I like to flip my mat over in order to remove anything that's like a paper product, so stickers, these tattoos, anything like that, because it prevents it from having like a weird curl on it. Cricut also cut cleanly around everything, like there was no residue left on the mat at all. I love how these temporary tattoos turned out. They look kind of like stickers, which is why I love them so much. Like I said, you don't have to use a Cricut to cut them out, but I think it adds like a little charm to them. But anyway, so I'm also going to show you guys how to adhere these on. I think most of us have used a temporary tattoo before, but if you haven't, let me show you how to put one on. So you're going to start by choosing your tattoo, and then you're going to peel off that clear coat that's on top of it. Now you want to take a rag or a spray bottle or even a sponge, and you're going to get it wet with water. You're going to take that tattoo and place it wherever you want to place it. I'm going to put it on the back of my hand, and you're going to lay it flat. It is kind of sticky, so you don't have to worry about it moving, and you're going to wet it. So I'm using a rag, but like I said, you can use a spray bottle and it works the same. So once that temporary tattoo is saturated with water, you should be able to just peel off that backing, and it's gonna leave a vibrant tattoo. It looks so cute on my hand, y'all. I was worried that the colors wouldn't show up well on dark skin, but obviously it's working. I think it looks really good. I only have like one small tattoo in real life, but I'm about to eat these up. If I have any Beehive subscribers, y'all, I'm about to eat these tattoos up for Act 3. So let me know if y'all want me to make some. Maybe we can all wear one to the concert. I don't know. But anyways, thanks for watching. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.